Hi and welcome to Video 2 in Series 2. When working with disadvantaged clients, we must be careful that we don't cross the line. Describe what this would mean in relation to your work role. Okay, so when we say cross the line, we mean setting some boundaries within ourselves that we don't actually go too far with the level of service that we're providing for the client. So you should be thinking of your own clients now and examples of when it felt maybe they were asking things like, well, things that were too much, too more outside of what your job expectations were, like asking to borrow money from you, or if you were even tempted to offer them some short-term shelter at your house. I mean, that could be a rare occurrence, but if somebody was saying to you, oh, my boyfriend's beating me up, I've got nowhere to go, those are the times where things cross the line, and your answer should mention some clear understanding between you and the client of what the expectations of the relationship are, what the boundaries are. So just think of an example and perhaps explain how you set some boundaries for yourself or something like this. Okay, so 1.7, list the specific written and verbal communication skills that your organization has specified being important to your role. So when they hired you, did they say to you, we need you to have really good written and spoken English skills. You need to be good on have good phone manner, and so on. So maybe even look back and see if you can find the job description for your role or an advertised job role similar to yours, and note the communication skills required. So we're just making sure that you are fully aware of what the workplace communication and workplace relationship skills that you needed for your job were. Some of them you might have become strong over time because you weren't that strong on when you first started, but now oh wow, I'm really good on the phone now. So what would you tell a new employee who is about to share your role about their main legislative responsibility? So what legal requirements, what would you say to somebody who was going to be there maybe say for a week or take over your job I reckon for a month? What are the main things you would tell them to make sure to do that they didn't get in trouble? Like contractually, have they reported every week on the Centrelink computer system or something? Those sort of things that really matter, otherwise they could get in trouble. And things like confidentiality with the client. Are they making sure they're not leaving clients' files lying around on the desk and so on, so that anybody can see them? We don't want that happening because that's a breach of Privacy Act and so on. So just anything to do with what's legal and so on. And I guess knowing about discrimination, all sorts of things like that. So, okay, reflect upon your current work group and explain the actions you would take to build a better team. So if there's only one or two of you in the team, then there might not be a whole heap of work you could do. So I want you to think back to where you may have had a bigger team and what you could have done to what do you reckon could have been done better in that team to make it work? If everything was great, tell us how you got to that level, why you were so well-oiled machine sort of thing with your teamwork. You might look on pages 4, 5, and 6 of Learner Workbook 2 for some ideas about how teams evolve and how they work well together. Okay, so 1.10, how do you presently manage confrontations and conflicts? So what do you do personally in the job? You might not even think about it, but there must be times where maybe there's a complaint from a client, you need to report it. Just can you put down the steps that what you currently do at the moment? So it's a personal experience answer really there. What do you, if you needed to, if you're having a problem with another staff member, how would you report it to management? What are the procedures for you? What's the main cause of conflict in your work group? Okay, so if are you having any conflicts? Is there any misunderstandings with external providers, or is there any misunderstandings within your group about who's meant to be doing what role and so on? So it's really to do with your workplace. If there's nothing there in your workplace at the moment, no conflicts, then just think of times in the past where you worked in a place where there's been conflict. What was the main cause of that? And you can have a look on page 12 onwards. It sort of describes some of the conflicts and how they evolve. What do you think are the important principles when trying to resolve conflict? Okay, so once again, just have a look at page 12 and 15, all the way through to the top of page 15. There's some strategies on how to resolve conflict, but you can use your own personal experience. How do you actually do it yourself? So what are the main principles that you're using when you're trying to resolve conflict? You're being calm, you're using a low tone of voice, your listening skills are good, and so on and so forth. Okay, so last up, what policies and procedures for conflict management have been or should be established in your workplace? Summarize the main points of the procedure. So this is, once again, it's to do with your workplace. So think of what happens there at the moment. Do you verbally communicate with the person first, saying, you know, I'm not really happy with the way that you walk into the office every day and you never say good morning or something. It feels like there's a bit of tension, or you know, do you verbalize first, and then if there's no response from that, is your next procedure to see a manager? What are the procedures? What if there's a procedure for a client? Like if a client's getting really angry, is there some actual policy that you have to de-escalate the issue? What do you do and who do you tell? Just keep it brief, maybe 5 bullet points or 4 points there to answer that question. All right, that's it. We'll see you in the next one.